My girlfriend invited her ex over to draft night at my condo, then said, "If you're uncomfortable, you can go." So, I shifted the party with one message and gave her 30 days to find somewhere else to live. She didn't handle that well. Hook. My girlfriend looked me dead in the eye and told me to leave my own home so she could host her ex-boyfriend at a party I was throwing. My entire world, everything I thought we had, crumbled in that single, gut-wrenching moment. How could someone I loved betray me so profoundly, and what would you do when faced with such an unbelievable demand? The story. Hey everyone, Ethan here. I'm 32, and for 2 years, I thought I had it all figured out with Nicole. She moved into my 2-bedroom condo in Austin about 6 months into our relationship, and I genuinely believed we were solid. We had our routine, a shared friend group, and I was naive enough to dismiss the little red flags as just quirks. Then, one random Tuesday, she opened her mouth and uttered something that basically nuked our entire relationship in 30 seconds flat. See, I own my condo. Bought it back when that was still achievable. Nicole moved in and paid a flat amount for utilities, nowhere near market rent, but it worked for us. Or, so I thought. Our friend group, a tight-knit crew from college, runs a fantasy football league. 12 of us, all convinced we're football geniuses. We game online a couple of nights a week, enough to keep our Discord server buzzing since forever. It's me, Drew, Tasha, Mike, Jordan, and a rotating cast of others. Drew's my next-door neighbor, a total chaos merchant with a dog named Brisket. Tasha? She's our 2-time league champ and the unofficial judge of all disputes. Nicole got absorbed into the group when we started dating. Everyone liked her. She was great at party planning, you know? Every August, draft night is at my place. I fire up the smoker the day before, low and slow, guarding my dry rub recipe like state secrets. People bring their laptops, we project the draft board on the TV, argue about sleeper picks until midnight. Good people, good food, a tradition of thinking we know what we're doing. This year's draft night was set for Saturday. Nicole was handling invites and sides, I was on meat and tech. So, Tuesday night, I was on the couch, lost in the thrilling world of comparing brisket prices, because, apparently, adulthood is just having strong opinions about beef sourcing. Nicole was on her phone, half watching some show. And then, she dropped the bomb. She said it so casually, like she was mentioning the weather. "Oh, I invited Brandon to draft night." I stopped typing. My fingers froze over the keyboard. Brandon. Her ex. The guy she dated for 4 years before me. The same Brandon she'd described in agonizing detail as emotionally manipulative, obsessively jealous, toxic enough that she'd cut off an entire friend group just to escape him. The guy whose name used to make her physically tense, even months into our relationship. That Brandon. I looked at her. She didn't look up. Still scrolling. "Brandon, your ex?" I managed to ask, my voice sounding distant even to myself. "Yeah," she mumbled. "He reached out a few months ago. We've been talking. He's completely different now. Did a lot of personal work. Apologized for everything. We're just friends." Just friends? For months? She'd been in contact with him for months, and I was finding out 4 days before she wanted him in my living room, eating my brisket? I slowly closed my laptop. My blood ran cold. "You invited your ex-boyfriend to draft night in my condo, and you're telling me now?" She finally looked up, annoyance flashing across her face, as if I was being difficult about something utterly trivial. "It's not a big deal. He's just a friend. I ran into him last week and mentioned it. He's into fantasy football now. It'll be fine." "You ran into him at the coffee place near my office," I said, a bitter laugh escaping me. Total coincidence, right? A guy she hadn't spoken to in years just happened to materialize at her specific coffee shop, and that magically turned into a party invite? Totally organic. Totally believable. "I don't want him here," I stated, my voice firm. "This is my home. I've never met this guy. Everything I know about him came from you. And none of it was good." She finally put her phone down. The annoyance sharpened into something much colder. "That was years ago. People change. I'm not going to uninvite him just because you're being insecure. That would be humiliating." "I'm not insecure. I shot back, a surge of pure disbelief mixed with anger. I'm saying I don't want your ex in my house. She stood up, arms crossed, her stance defiant. He's coming. I already told him. If you're going to be weird about it, maybe just go somewhere else for the night. Go to Drew's. It's a few hours. I'm not letting your paranoia ruin this. My girlfriend told me to leave my own place so she could host her ex at a party I was throwing. I looked at her. How messed up was it that she didn't even see the problem? It was a light bulb moment, a sickening click in my brain. I thought about the last 2 months, the late nights, her phone always face down, the vague weekend plans. Not the full picture yet, that would come later, but enough to know whatever I thought this relationship was, it wasn't that. She was still standing there, arms crossed, waiting for me to apologize, or negotiate, or do whatever she expected a pushover boyfriend to do. I didn't say anything. I just stood up, walked to the kitchen, grabbed my keys off the counter, and headed for the door. "Where are you going?" she called after me, her voice laced with a confusion that felt performative. Still nothing from me. I wasn't being dramatic. I genuinely had nothing left to say to her that would matter. She'd made her position crystal clear. And now I was going to make mine. I walked out, drove to Drew's, and sat on his couch for an hour, staring at the wall. Drew, bless him, just made us both iced coffee and didn't ask questions. He handed me the mug, sat down across from me, and waited. She invited her ex to draft night, I finally said, the words heavy in the silent room. Told me to leave if I didn't like it. Drew blinked. What? Leave your own condo? Yep. The condo you own? That's the one. He processed this for a moment, his eyes widening. So, what are you going to do? I pulled out my phone and opened Discord. Typed one message in our draft night channel, everyone draft night is moving to Drew's place. Same time. I'll bring the brisket. Nicole wants to host her ex here instead. So, we're relocating. Details tomorrow. I hit send. Muted notifications. I slept on Drew's couch that night. My phone still blew up, even muted. I could see the screen lighting up every few seconds on Drew's coffee table. Nicole sent 14 texts in the span of 20 minutes, starting with confused, escalating to angry, landing on threatening. I didn't read any of them. Drew glanced at the phone a few times, his eyebrows climbing higher with each buzz. Around 1 a.m., a number I didn't recognize started texting. 3 messages. Drew picked up my phone, squinted at the screen. Bro, I think this is Brandon. Apparently, Nicole had given him my number so he could coordinate about the party. Brandon was asking what time he should show up and whether he should bring anything. The absolute audacity of this guy, texting me like we were buddies planning a cookout. Drew started laughing so hard he woke up Brisket the dog, who padded over to investigate the commotion. The dog, deciding nothing interesting was happening, flopped down on my feet like a 70-pound weighted blanket. You're keeping Brisket tonight, Drew declared, still chuckling. Emotional support animal. Non-negotiable. I didn't argue. The dog was warm and had no opinions about my relationship. The next morning was going to be interesting. Drew woke me up at 6:45 by dropping his phone on my chest. Bro, check the server. The Discord had exploded overnight. 47 new messages in the draft night channel alone. I scrolled through. Drew had posted around 11:45 the night before. My place is locked in. Smoker transport happening tomorrow. This is not a drill. Then Tasha jumped in. Wait, the Brandon? The one from the horror stories? Why would she invite him to anything? Mike added, I'm getting popcorn. This is better than the actual draft. The rest of the messages were people confirming they'd be at Drew's. Jordan was still bringing the queso. Someone even started a poll asking whether Brandon should be auto-drafted to everyone's worst roster as punishment for existing. 12 votes, yes, within an hour. Then the real chaos started. Nicole had seen my message around midnight. She'd immediately started posting in the general channel, which was a tactical error. That channel has more lurkers than active players, and she wasn't going to win a popularity contest with this crowd. She posted 4 messages in rapid succession. The first one said there must be a misunderstanding. The second claimed she never told anyone to leave, just suggested I might be more comfortable somewhere else. The third called the whole situation unfair and said I was blowing things out of proportion. The fourth asked if we could please talk about this like adults because this was embarrassing. The responses were anything but sympathetic. Mike replied with a single thinking emoji. Jordan asked if she'd also be providing snacks at the new intimate gathering. Someone I didn't even recognize posted a meme of a woman being escorted out of a building. Then Tasha did what Tasha does. She pinned my original message and added a mod note. For context, Ethan was asked to leave his own condo so Nicole could host her ex. He declined and relocated the event. That's the whole story. Moving on. Nicole tried to fight the pin, posting 3 more times asking why Tasha was taking sides and whether the mods were really going to let one person's narrative dominate the server. Tasha responded with a single message, "This is your warning. Stay on topic or take a break from the channel." Nicole went quiet after that for about an hour. Then Drew showed me another set of DMs. Brandon had found Drew's username somehow, probably from Nicole, and was trying to recruit him as a neutral party, asking if there was another side to the story and whether Drew thought Nicole was being treated fairly. Drew's responses were perfect. He just left the man on read, like a professional. I handed Drew his phone back. Tasha's a legend. Always has been, he agreed, already making more coffee. Also, your girlfriend tried to DM me at 2 a.m., asking me to be reasonable and convince you to move the party back. And? I left her on read. Then she asked if she and Brandon could at least come to my place for the draft. Left that on read, too. Ex-girlfriend, I corrected. Yeah, I figured. I drove back to my condo around 8 a.m. Nicole was waiting. She'd clearly been awake for hours, pacing, phone in hand. The second I walked in, she transformed. Hey, she said, soft voice, gentle smile, concerned eyes. The body language of someone who just wants to work things out. Can we talk? I think last night got out of hand. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. This was the Nicole other people saw. The warm, reasonable girlfriend who just wanted everyone to get along. There's nothing to talk about, I said, cutting her off cold. Draft night is at Drew's. You can do whatever you want here Saturday. Her face flickered. Something hard and calculating underneath, just for a second, then back to concerned girlfriend mode. Okay, I understand you're upset, but Brandon is just a friend. I was trying to be mature about it. You're the one who made it public and humiliated me in front of everyone. You told me to leave my own home. I suggested you might be more comfortable somewhere else. That's not the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. She stared at me. The warmth was gone now. Fine. You want to make this a whole thing? Fine. But I live here too. You can't just kick me out. I'm not kicking you out. I'm moving a party. You're welcome to stay. Brandon can come over. You two can have the place to yourselves. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I walked past her to the bedroom to grab clean clothes. Behind me, I heard her voice shift again, this time into the phone. She was already pivoting to the next play. Amber, can you come over? He's being completely unreasonable. I don't feel safe here right now. She was already lining up reinforcements, playing the victim to someone who'd believe her. The two-face thing was impressive. Honestly. I grabbed my stuff and headed back to Drew's. Whatever was about to happen with Amber wasn't going to involve me. Saturday arrived. Draft night at Drew's. But first, here's the scene at my condo, pieced together later from Tasha, who got it from Haley, who was still speaking to Nicole at that point, and from Drew, who received a truly unhinged series of texts from Brandon himself. Nicole had decided to host anyway. She'd set up the living room like a party was happening. Bowls of chips, a vegetable tray, everything arranged. She even posted in a group chat for some of her work friends, hosting a little get-together tonight if anyone wants to stop by. Low-key vibes, good snacks. Sucks to suck. Nobody came. The work friends had other plans, or sensed the desperation, or both. The Fantasy League people were obviously all at Drew's. But Nicole had committed to the bit, so the snacks stayed out. Brandon showed up early. Like, 2 hours early. So there he was, sitting on my couch, eating my chips at 4:30 in the afternoon, waiting for a party that was never going to happen. The first hour was fine. Nicole was in hostess mode, keeping the conversation going, probably still convinced people would show up eventually. But by 6, Brandon started getting antsy. He kept checking his phone, looking at the door, asking when the rest of the group was arriving. Some people might be running late, Nicole told him, trying to sound breezy. Like, how late? The draft starts at 7, right? There might have been some schedule changes. Around 7 p.m., the draft officially started at Drew's place, where everyone actually was. Brandon, sitting in an empty living room with a lonely vegetable tray, started texting. Drew showed me the messages later. They were gold. 7:12, hey man, is there another location for tonight? Nicole said some stuff changed. 7:34, are people coming to her place or? 7:58, yo, is the draft happening somewhere else? Nobody's here. Drew didn't respond to any of them. Just let them sit there on read. Meanwhile, at the condo, Brandon apparently asked Nicole directly, so, is this the party? Nicole tried to play it off. Said there had been a miscommunication, but they could still have a nice evening, just the two of them. Brandon, to his minimal credit, seemed genuinely confused by this turn of events. I thought this was like a whole group thing with the fantasy draft. You said there'd be like 15 people. Plans changed. Changed to what? It's just us eating chips. Is that a problem? It was apparently a problem. He spent the next hour on his phone, increasingly awkward, while Nicole tried to salvage the vibe. She put on music, suggested a movie, made small talk about his crypto portfolio, which went about as well as conversations about crypto portfolios usually go. Around 8:30, he told her he had to leave. Something came up. A thing with his roommate. Very urgent. She walked him to the door, and according to Haley's second-hand account, the goodbye was painfully brief. Nicole sat alone in the condo after that, surrounded by untouched snacks, while her phone stayed silent. The party she'd hijacked had happened without her. The ex she'd chosen over her boyfriend had bailed after 4 hours of awkward silence. The social media post about her fun night in that she'd drafted never got published. Meanwhile, at Drew's apartment, it was absolute chaos, in the best possible way. 14 people packed into his living room, laptops everywhere, cords running in every direction. Someone had brought a power strip that immediately became the most valuable object in the room. The draft board was projected on Drew's TV. Jordan's queso dip was getting demolished. Tasha was dominating the draft with surgical precision while everyone else scrambled. I manned the brisket, which had transported mostly beautifully in Drew's cooler, except the lid popped open during the drive, and one of the end pieces slid onto the floor of my car. Drew's dog, Brisket, considered this a personal gift and ate it before I could react. I wasn't even mad. That dog had earned it. The vibe was good. Better than good. People were relaxed, laughing, roasting each other's draft picks in real time. Mike's headset was still echoing, and he was taking the mockery in stride. Jordan claimed his queso recipe was a family secret, and 3 people immediately started trying to reverse engineer it. Around round 4, Drew's Wi-Fi decided to have a moment. The connection dropped for about 90 seconds. When it came back, the auto draft had selected a kicker for me. In the 4th round. A kicker. The room erupted. Mike laughed so hard he choked on a chip. Drew apologized profusely while also clearly finding it hilarious. I'd have to live with this for the entire season. The nickname started immediately, Kicker King. Someone called me from across the room. Within 10 minutes, Tasha had changed my Discord handle to Round 4 Kicker. Mike suggested we make it a rule that whoever finishes last next year has to draft a kicker in Round 4 as punishment. The vote passed unanimously. Drew's Wi-Fi had achieved what Nicole couldn't, actually ruining something for me. But honestly, it was funny enough that I didn't care. Around 9 p.m., someone's phone buzzed, then another, then mine. Nicole had posted in the general channel again. A long message this time. She wrote that she was really hurt by how this was handled, that she'd always tried to be a good partner and friend to the group. All she did was invite someone to a party, and now she was being treated like a villain. She thought we were all adults who could handle that. She believed there had been manipulation happening behind the scenes. She wasn't going to defend herself anymore. She just wanted us to know her side. The room went quiet for about 3 seconds. Everyone had seen it at the same time. Jordan, who's generally the peacemaker type, said, should someone maybe check on her? This seems like a lot. Tasha didn't even look up from her laptop. She told him to leave his own condo for her ex. He left. Now she's upset the party happened without her. That's the whole story. Jordan nodded slowly. Yeah, okay, fair point. Then Tasha unmuted her mic on the voice chat we'd been running in the background. I'm deleting that message. It's off topic for the channel, and we're in the middle of a draft. If anyone has questions about the situation, you can DM me, but this isn't the place. She deleted the message. Then she posted a meme of a dumpster on fire with the caption anyway. Drew started laughing. Mike started laughing. The tension evaporated instantly. Within 30 seconds, we were back to arguing about whether to draft a backup quarterback early. Later that night, Tasha told me Nicole had tried to DM her directly, asking for temporary mod access to post a clarification that wouldn't get deleted. Tasha's response was 4 words, no. Go touch grass. Then Nicole asked if Tasha could at least present both sides fairly in the server. Tasha replied, there's one side. You told your boyfriend to leave his house for your ex. That's the side. Nicole left the server that night. No announcement, no goodbye, just gone. Her username vanished from the member list while we were in the middle of round 6 of the draft. Mike noticed first and announced it to the room. Someone started a slow clap that was only partially ironic. The week after draft night, I gave Nicole the notice. I'd talked to a lawyer. Quick consultation, $200. In Texas, she was a month-to-month tenant at will. 30 days written notice. No reason required. He emailed me a template. Simple. I set the move-out date for October 15th to give myself time to arrange the locksmith and coordinate around my work schedule. I printed the notice on a Sunday evening, handed it to her while she was watching TV. What's this? She asked, her voice tight. 30 days notice. You need to find a new place by October 15th. She read it. Her face cycled through confusion, disbelief, fear, then landed on cold fury. You're really doing this? You told me to leave my own place for your ex. Then you tried to turn the friend group against me. Yeah, I'm doing this. I could fight this. I have rights. You have the right to 30 days. After that, you're trespassing. She went quiet, clearly looking for an angle. Then she tried the wounded act. I can't believe you're doing this to me. After everything. I made one mistake, and now you're throwing me out. Do you know how that makes me feel? Classic. Used to work on me. You have 30 days. That's more than fair. The softness vanished. She smiled. A chilling, fake smile. Fine, but you should know I've already talked to my sister about this. She knows HR people at your company. This could get uncomfortable for you professionally. My jaw dropped. You're threatening my job because I'm ending the lease? I'm just letting you know there are other ways this could play out. She turned and went to the bedroom. I stood there, stunned, then texted Drew. She just threatened to contact my HR. His response, Elmo with what? Being a homeowner? Let her try, bro. He had a point. But about a week later, my manager pulled me aside. Hey, got a weird email from HR, something about a hostile domestic situation and concerns about your stability. You know anything about that? I explained in 30 seconds. Breakup, eviction notice, ex not taking it well. He nodded. Yeah, figured. HR said it was vague and didn't allege anything actionable, filing it as a non-issue. That was it. She'd actually done it, and it amounted to nothing. Here's where it gets petty. The next 3 weeks were a Cold War. Nicole didn't do anything obvious enough to be actionable, but she made sure living with her was as unpleasant as possible without crossing a line I could point to. Passive-aggressive comments about how some people can't handle difficult conversations. Long silences when I entered rooms. Cabinet doors left open because she knew it annoyed me. The last of the coffee used and not replaced. The thermostat adjusted to temperatures she knew I hated. Small things. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. Then the Wi-Fi incident happened. I came home from work one day to find the network name had been changed to Ethan is a narcissist and the password reset to something I didn't know. My devices were all kicked off. I couldn't work from home. I couldn't game. I couldn't even stream anything on my own TV in my own condo. When I asked her for the new password, she smiled sweetly and said she'd write it down somewhere, and then conveniently forgot for 3 days. I ended up tethering to my phone like some kind of animal until she finally remembered it. She also started inviting Amber over constantly. Amber, who clearly believed every word of Nicole's twisted version of events. Amber looked at me like I was something unpleasant she'd stepped in. They'd sit in the living room, talking loudly about how some men can't handle strong women and emotional immaturity is epidemic. I'd retreat to my room and put on noise-canceling headphones. The pettiest move came in week 3, the headset incident. I have a nice gaming headset, limited edition. I'd pre-ordered it, waited 3 months, tracked the shipping daily. Noise cancelling, great mic quality, comfortable enough to wear for hours. It lives on a stand next to my PC. One day, I came home from work and it was gone. I found it in her room, sitting on her desk like it belonged there. Next to it was a sticky note, birthday gift 2022. Taking it when I go. My birthday is in March. She moved in September. The headset released in November of 2023. The timeline didn't work. She knew it didn't work. She was just betting I wouldn't have receipts. I didn't argue with her. I just went in my email, found the order confirmation with my name and payment info and delivery date, and forwarded it to myself so I'd have it ready when needed. Then I went to Drew's apartment. I need to store something here for a couple of weeks. The headset, he asked, not even looking up. How do you know? Because you're holding the headset. Yeah. I put it on his shelf behind some books where it wouldn't be obvious. The next day, Nicole noticed it was gone from her room. She didn't say anything directly, just gave me this long, evaluating stare over breakfast, like she was recalculating something. The fake birthday claim was never mentioned again. Day 22. 8 days left on the notice. I was just trying to fix my Netflix recommendations, which had gone completely insane. Reality dating competitions, couples therapy documentaries. My algorithm was convinced I was deeply invested in whether some guy named Chad would find true love on a tropical island. I figured Nicole's watch history was bleeding into my recommendations. So, I logged into my account settings to fix it. We still shared the account because I hadn't had the energy to deal with administrative tasks while living through a Cold War. That's when I saw the activity log. Netflix tracks everything. What profile watched what when on which device. I'd never looked at the screen before, but it was all there in brutal detail. Nicole's profile showed viewing sessions at times that didn't match where she was supposed to be. 2 episodes of some drama at 11 at night on a Wednesday back in March. I remembered that night. She'd said she was staying at Amber's because they had an early brunch thing the next day. But the device wasn't Amber's TV. It wasn't Nicole's laptop or tablet either. The device was listed as Brandon's Fire Stick. Netflix pulls device names from your Amazon account. So, Brandon had literally named his streaming device after himself. Genius move. Honestly, it really helped me out. I stared at my phone screen for a very long time. I scrolled further back. More sessions. February, January, December. Going back almost 8 months. Always the same device name. Always on nights she'd told me she was somewhere else. Gym nights, girls' nights with friends, sister visits, work events. Every excuse she'd given me for the past year, every story about where she was going, had apparently been a lie. The recent reconnection she described, the one that happened a few months ago after a coincidental coffee shop encounter? At least 8 months old. The coffee shop thing was staged. The he's changed narrative was rehearsed. The whole thing was a production. The draft night invitation wasn't impulsive. The party was supposed to be her soft launch. Introduce him as just a friend. Get everyone comfortable with his presence. So, when she eventually made the switch, the timeline would look natural. She wasn't just entitled. She was running a long con. And she'd gotten sloppy because she didn't think I'd ever look at something as mundane as streaming account settings. I didn't confront her that night. I sat on the information for about 18 hours. The next evening, she came home from the gym around 8. All cheerful energy, good vibes. Hey, she said, dropping her bag. I was thinking we could watch something tonight. Clear the air a little. The audacity. Standing there, offering a peace gesture while the evidence was sitting in my phone. Sure, I said, my voice calm, almost too calm. Let me pull up Netflix. I grabbed the remote, opened the app, and navigated to account settings. Found the Manage Devices page. Let her see what I was looking at. What are you doing? She asked, still casual, still oblivious. Just checking something. I scrolled to the device list. Let her eyes find the line that said, Brandon's Fire Stick, last active yesterday. When did we add that device to the account? The casualness evaporated. I watched her face change in real time. Her smile freezing, color draining, the whole act just falling apart. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. I can explain that. Can you? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper, but it cut through the silence. Because according to this activity log, you've been watching shows from Brandon's apartment since at least January. That's 8 months of gym nights that apparently happened at your ex-boyfriend's place. 8 months of lies. She was shaking her head slowly, but she didn't have a rebuttal. The data was right there on the screen. 8 days, I said. The notice stands. I walked out, slept at Drew's again, and told him the full story. He listened, shaking his head, repeating, bro, that's insane, about 4 times. When I came back to the condo the next morning to grab some clothes, Nicole had already started packing. No more passive-aggressive comments, no more Amber visits, no more Cold War tactics. Just boxes appearing in the living room, slowly filling up with her stuff. The countdown was almost over. Move-out day, October 15th. I'd worked it out with my building's property manager, a guy named Carlos who'd been there for 12 years. I told him the situation, and he agreed to be present during the move as a neutral witness. Smart, he said. Prevents problems. I also arranged to have the locks rekeyed immediately after she left. Paid extra for same-day service. I wasn't taking any chances. Nicole had scheduled a moving van for noon. Her sister, Amber, was helping. Drew offered to be there, too, but I told him to stand by at his place in case I needed backup. I didn't want to turn move-out day into a spectacle. I just wanted it done. I spent the morning at Drew's, pretending to watch something on TV. Around 11 a.m., Carlos texted, "She's here with the van loading now. I'm keeping an eye on things." I waited, walked Drew's dog, had another cup of coffee. At 12:45, Carlos texted again, "Almost done." She tried to take the smoker from the balcony. I told her it wasn't hers, and it wasn't leaving the unit. She argued for about 10 minutes, then gave up. Everything else went fine. She'd actually tried to claim the smoker. The same smoker I'd had for 3 years before I met her. The centerpiece of every draft night. The thing that had made brisket for dozens of events she'd attended as my guest. Of course, she tried to take it. At 1, Carlos confirmed the van had left. I walked back to my building and found him in the lobby holding a new set of keys. "Locks are done," he said, handing them over. She returned her copies. "Everything settled. She give you any trouble?" "Aside from the smoker thing? Not really." Her sister was muttering about lawyers and karma the whole time, but that's just noise. The actual move went fine. She signed the inventory acknowledgement. "You're clear." I thanked him and headed upstairs. The condo was finally quiet. I walked through each room, cataloging the absences. Drew's dog, Brisket, had come up with me. Brisket sniffed every corner like he was conducting an inspection, then settled onto his favorite spot on my couch like nothing had changed. The headset was back on its stand. Drew had returned it that morning. Everything that was mine was still here. Everything that was hers was gone. The first thing I did was open my laptop, went to Netflix account settings, scrolled to Manage Devices, and found Brandon's Fire Stick still sitting there like a digital artifact of betrayal. I clicked Remove and it was gone. Then changed the password and removed Nicole's profile entirely. 2 years of watch history, her algorithm, her recommendations, all wiped. She'd find out the next time she tried to log in from wherever she was staying. Probably Brandon's place. Probably tonight. About an hour later, my phone buzzed. "Nicole, did you seriously kick me off Netflix?" I replied, subscriptions in my name. Should have thought about that before moving to your boyfriend's apartment. She didn't respond. Some conversations just end themselves. I texted Drew, she's out. Smoker survived. Come over whenever. He showed up 20 minutes later with a pizza and 2 drinks. We sat on the balcony eating. And for the first time in 2 months, I felt like I could actually breathe. The aftermath came in pieces over the following weeks, mostly through Tasha, who had sources everywhere. Nicole moved in with Brandon. Tasha showed me the screenshot during a gaming session. Haley had forwarded it from Nicole's Instagram story, since deleted a cramped bedroom with boxes stacked in the corner, captioned "New Chapter, Same Me," with a sparkle emoji. The room was clearly a converted den. No closet, no windows. Brandon's crypto setup visible in the background with 3 monitors showing red numbers and a whiteboard with HODL written on it. That's his bedroom, Tasha said, which he shares with her now in an apartment he also shares with 2 roommates. Drew pulled up Brandon's LinkedIn on his phone. His job title was Independent Digital Asset Strategist. His last actual W-2 employment was 3 years ago. She left your condo for that? Drew said, shaking his head. A guy who calls losing money a strategy. Nicole was now the primary earner in a household of 4. The salary that used to fund her shopping trips was now covering rent for 3 other people, one of whom spent his days watching numbers go down and calling it patience. She's miserable, Tasha added. Haley said she tried to complain about the living situation last week, and Amber told her to figure it out because she wasn't taking her in. Amber, Nicole's own sister, the one who'd been ready to go to war. Turned out she was furious at her. Amber had spent weeks defending her, calling me a monster, only to find out later about the 8 months of lies and the Netflix receipts. They weren't speaking. The first Saturday of November, I threw the real party. Not draft night. This was the victory lap. My place, my rules. I called it the relaunch. Posted the details in Discord. At everyone relaunch party at my place. Saturday the 2nd, starting at 2. Brisket. Games. Fantasy standings review. Bring whatever you want. One house rule, no exes. If you've dated someone in this server, don't bring them. See you there. RSVPs came fast. Drew said he'd be there at 1 to help, and that Brisket the dog was also coming. He added to keep Brisket the meat away from Brisket the dog. Tasha replied, finally, Drew's Wi-Fi was criminal. Jordan announced, queso round 2 incoming. 14 confirmations. My condo. My people. The party was everything draft night should have been, low-key, comfortable, familiar. Drew helped set up. Tasha brought a soundbar. Jordan's queso was somehow even better. Mike's headset finally worked, and everyone gave him a standing ovation that was about 40% sarcastic. The brisket was perfect. 14 hours in the smoker. Bark so good people were fighting over the end pieces. Late in the evening, Drew raised his drink. To the man who knows when to relocate a party and when to relocate a whole relationship. Everyone laughed. Tasha added, and to the brisket, the real MVP. Later, when most people had left and it was just me, Drew, and Tasha cleaning up, she mentioned something. Nicole tried to start a new Discord server. Invited some of the fringe people. Called it a fresh start community. How'd that go? I asked, tossing another handful of paper plates into a trash bag. 3 members. Her, Amber, and Brandon. Except Amber left after a week because they're still fighting. So, now it's just Nicole and Brandon posting memes to each other in a dead server. I nodded. The whole thing was finally, truly over. So, what do you all think? Have you ever had someone try to kick you out of your own space, or dealt with a betrayal this deep? I'd love to hear your stories and your take on what went down. Drop a comment below, I'm genuinely curious to know what you would have done in my shoes.